Hello folks and welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we are back working on the little cheap Toyota Starlet, and today we're going to be starting off in the engine bay. So in the first video on the car, when I bought it and cleaned the interior up, I mentioned that we have a leaky gasket underneath this rocker cover. But when I was doing the interior, I cleaned the engine bay as well, and I got most of the oil off this area of the engine. But as you can see, it is still leaking on this corner there. That is some fresh oil just sitting under that corner on the rocker cover, and that's where I was told it was leaking from the most. So to fix this oil leak, I have bought a new rocker cover gasket from Blueprint, so it should be pretty decent. I think it was less than £20, so it's not the most expensive thing to buy ever, and hopefully it sorts our issue out. Now, as well as that, I'm going to be doing a service on the engine as well, so we're going to be changing out the oil, changing the oil filter, and I'm going to be doing 4 spark plugs as well. So yeah, I thought before we start doing all the bodywork stuff to the car, we might as well get it running well mechanically first, because we kind of need that. But before we even get into servicing the car, I want to get that rocker cover off and possibly paint it as well. I think it'll look good. Right, let's get this rocker cover off. It's held on with, I think, 5 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then obviously we've got HT leads and a few hoses and stuff, but that shouldn't be a massive issue. So let's get this off. Oh, I didn't realise the thread was that short. Right, rocker cover off, and check the top of the engine here. It looks pretty neat under there. All looks actually alright. Aye, pretty surprised with that. There's not any sort of scoring or anything. It actually looks pretty tidy under there. Impressed with that. And here is the rocker cover as well, and to be fair, the gasket doesn't look the worst ever, but we've got it there anyway, so we'll change it and hopefully that sorts our oil leak. But since I've got the rocker cover off the car, I might as well paint it to make it look a lot better, so I think we'll do that. So I've now just went ahead and used some brake cleaner to clean the rocker cover on the top and underneath as well. It's looking nice and fresh under there as well. So now we just need to see if I can remove this little pipe over here. I'll obviously remove the oil cap as well, and then we'll get it sanded down. Right, there we go. I managed to get that wee pipe and rubber out of there. So we've got a completely bare rocker cover now, so that's going to make it so much easier for sanding and painting. For sanding down the rocker cover, I'm just going to be using a 320 grit disc on my sander. To get in between the grooves and the lettering on the rocker cover, I'm just using the same sanding discs, but obviously just by hand. And look at the difference with that rocker cover now. So that's all sanded, ready for paint. It actually looks pretty good like this as well. It all looks pretty fresh. But we're going to get it painted now. So as you can see, I have quite a few paint colours there that we could be using, but I think I'm going to go with this. This is Ford Race Red. I had it lying about. There's a wee bit left in that tin there, and I think it'll go really well on the rocker cover, especially since we've got the red air filter as well. I mean, this was on the car when I bought it. It's a bit big, as you can see. It's rubbing off the inside of the bonnet, so I think we might have to switch that out, but for the moment it'll go. I think we really only could go with a red or a black or the exact same blue that's on the body of the car, but I don't have any colour for the body yet, so I can't do it. I'd normally do it the colour of the car though, but we'll leave it and we'll do it red. So I think it'll pop under the engine bay. I mean, blue and red isn't the best colour together, but since we've got the red air filter, and red obviously is the colour of a race car, so if we put that on the rocker cover, it means this car is going to be fast as anything. So, aye, we'll paint it red, and then we'll do a wee bit of something else with the Toyota logo and stuff. So, let's do that. Right, and that is the rocker cover all set up on a little trestle. Now, I've masked up the side that actually touches where the timing belt is and stuff. I've covered up the wee gaskets that are in here for where the H sealers plug into, covered up the hole for the cap as well, I've covered up this wee vacuum pipe as well, and all these wee holes where the bolts go are all covered up from the inside. So we're ready to go. Now because it is just a rocker cover, I'm literally just going to put some aerosol primer on there and then get on with doing the base coat and lacquer. It's high build aerosol primer as well. It's pretty expensive stuff. It's £18 for a can of it, but it's good stuff. So there it is, Pro XL, £18 for a can of it, which is mental. But aye, we'll get that on there and then we'll get some colour on there. And now it was on with that high build primer. These cans are really good. They have a really wide fan pattern, almost like a spray gun. They're really good stuff, and I only done one coat of this because it's just a rocker cover. Right, rocker cover and primer, and how much better does that look already in one colour? That primer is actually really good, to be fair, and it covers really well as well. That was literally like 1.5 coats, you could call it. So that's all drying out, ready for paint, and I have the colour in the gun. So there it is. We've only got a wee drop there, so hopefully it covers it all, but we'll get that on now. And after giving the rocker cover a little tack off, I can now get on with the first coat of base coat. Now as you can see, I'm not doing the heaviest coat ever here, we're just trying to get a little bit of colour onto there, just so the next coat can stick. I then gave the rocker cover a second and final coat. Right, and that is base coat now complete as well, so we're ready for lacquer. It's all dry, it's looking good so far. And aye, I've got the lacquer in the gun already, so we'll get that on. For the first coat of lacquer, we're pretty much doing the same thing as we've done with the first coat of base coat, just lightly going over it, not giving it the heaviest coat ever. We're not going for a finish on this coat, we're just trying to get something on there. However, for the second coat, we're going for that glossy finish. And there we have it, that is 2 coats of lacquer complete on the rocker cover now as well, and that looks so fresh. It looks unreal. I'm really chuffed with that. It didn't even take long to do it either, and it wasn't like we had to sand it all day or whatever. It was just really simple, which is surprising. Right, it's now the next day and the rocker cover is completely dry. It looks absolutely brilliant, and there's one more thing I want to do to it, which is actually sand down the little lines that are raised and the Toyota lettering that's raised as well. Now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should have done this after I'd sprayed the base coat, so then I could lacquer over the top of the whole thing, but hindsight is a great thing, so unfortunately we can't do that. But we'll sand it down, get this back to bare metal on these little raised bits, and that should look pretty good. It'll split up the red as well. I think it's a bit much red, so we'll do that. We'll get it back to metal, like we done with the Vauxhall Nova rocker cover. So I've now got the rocker cover masked up, and you can basically see where I'm going to be sanding. So it's literally just on these ridges and on the Toyota writing. So I'm going to do this off camera just to save some time, but I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. There we have it, that is the rocker cover pretty much complete. I still have a couple bits to put back on it, but that looks so fresh. So I've sanded down the raised grooves and the Toyota logo. Now I just done this with an 8 grit disc on my sander and just masked around it. Obviously it is really simple to do and it makes such a difference. So that's all ready to go back on. But now we need to get the little Starlet serviced, because what good's a rocker cover when we've still got all of this to do. So let's get all of this and on the car. Right, I've moved the Starlet forward a bit. Now I need to get jacked up so we can get right under it, and then we can find the sump plug and drain what oil's left in it, because there wasn't much on that dipstick, which you would have seen at the start of the video. So I don't know how much oil we're going to get out of it yet, but we'll drain it as much as possible. So let's get jacked up. Right, and that is the Starlet jacked up, so we've got the jack under there and a little stand under the middle of the car, and right here is the sump plug. Pretty simple, and I'm glad that it's actually a bolt. I was worried that it was going to be either like a Torx or an Allen or something, but we've got a nut there, so that's going to be easy to drain out. So let me undo that bolt and we'll get whatever oil out of it. You can see that most of the oil from the engine has came down onto the gearbox. So I'm going to try and clean up that gearbox as well today while we're under here, so that it looks all clean again, and then we can check if there's any leaks coming for the engine again. But hopefully it should be this rocker cover gasket. So hopefully this is good. Oh, that's actually alright. I don't know how much is going to come at this point, not much to be fair, but we'll see. Right, well we've got a bit, at least anyway. There we go. So we'll let that drain out and then we'll get back on with the job. So I drained out whatever was left of the oil in the engine, and then I could put the sump plug back in. Right, that's most of the oil drained out the sump. It's literally just dripping. It's been like this for a wee while. To be fair, there isn't much oil in there, but we'll get this plug back in and then go up there to the oil filter and get that off. There we go. Thing ever. That'll do. Right, let's see if we can get this oil filter off, because these are usually a nightmare. So. Right, I've got the trusty oil filter remover tool and a wee ratchet, so let's hope that we can get this off here. We'll go in through the front bumper somehow. And then this literally just latches on, you have to hold it in place, and then actually put it in the loosening position. And then hold that on there, and then you feel the tension. Oh, it's just about got it. There we go. Wow, surprising. It actually worked. I thought we were going to be there for ages, putting a screwdriver through the side of the oil filter and that, and taking ages with it. But there we go. I don't think that has ever been changed, or at least not for a while. That's a genuine Toyota oil filter. It's got rust around the edges of it, so that probably needed changed for a while. Wow. New oil filter, we have the Mal, the Holy Grail. So we'll get this on here. It looks to be the same as the old one. It's the same size anyway, so we'll get this on there. That's pretty much all done anyway. So we'll get some oil in there, tiny bit of the old oil, and I'll put it around that rubber seal there. And then hopefully this should go on. And these are just hand tight on the car. So. Yes, it's threading. It's the right one. Wow. What a surprise. And then just tighten that by hand. There we go. So oil filter done, oil drained, sump plug back in, so pretty much get some new oil in there. Right, so for ease of access, while we've got the rocker cover off the car, I think we might as well change the spark plugs, because I've got 4 new Bosch ones here. Bosch. So we'll get them on, and I mean the rocker cover's not there, so we're not going to have any risk of chipping the paint on the rocker cover, and they're all just there, so we'll get these changed out. Removing the spark plugs on the Starlet is pretty straightforward. We've only got 4 cylinders on this engine as well, so it is literally removing 4 and refitting 4 spark plugs. However, the socket used for removing spark plugs is completely different from a normal socket. They're thin walled and they're specifically made for removing spark plugs. I can then take the stand out from under the car and let it back down on all 4 wheels. I can then fit the new rocker cover gasket to the rocker cover. This is getting pretty exciting now because we're nearing the end of this job. Gasket fitted to the rocker cover. Let's get it on there and see what it looks like. Can't wait to see this. I then refitted all the bolts, HT leads and hoses, which was pretty straightforward because it was just a reversal of what we had done at the start of the video. And as you can see, I'm tightening down those 5 rocker cover bolts equally so that nothing's uneven by the end of it. Right, and that is the rocker cover all in place with all bolts, HT leads back on and all the hoses, and that looks amazing. I don't think it's too much red because you've got so much stuff covering it, and we took it back to silver in some areas as well. I think it looks absolutely unreal. Yep, I'm really chuffed with that. It goes just about with the air filter anyway, and it adds a bit of colour to that engine bay just to make it look that bit better. So all we need to do now is fill the engine up with oil. This takes around 3.2 litres, so it's not much. So I've got the finest Halfords 15W40 there, and we'll get that into the little 4EFE engine. So let's do that. Checked the oil a couple of times, so we'll just check it once more from the dipstick. Right, we'll pull that out and check it, and there we go. You can barely see it on the camera to be fair, but that is pretty much bang on with the line. So there you go, you can see that oil is pretty much bang on the line on the dipstick, and it's golden as well, which is a good thing. So there we go, oil complete in the Starlet. I then wanted to start up the car just to make sure it hadn't miraculously died over the time of changing the oil. And everything was good with that, so that was pretty much job done. Right, so I've just run the engine for a little bit there, so we'll go underneath and check for any leaks. And I don't think so, we are completely dry under there. That is just the old oil, as you can see, because it's clearly brownish, blackish. But aye, no leaks under there. And as you can sort of see back there, oil filters there, that's all dry around that area as well. So aye, chuffed with that. Right, and there we have it. That should be the mechanical side of things sorted on the little Toyota Starlet. We've given it a service, we've changed that rocker cover gasket, and we've made the rocker cover a bit prettier as well. So that means that the next step on the car should hopefully be the bodywork. Now, I am still in need of a boot lid for the little Starlet. They're getting pretty hard to find. I mean, yeah, we definitely need one, because this one's been absolutely shredded to pieces. So if you know anyone with a boot lid for a Starlet, please let me know. But yeah, I'm super excited to get onto the bodywork side of stuff because that is my main thing. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope you've enjoyed the transformation that we've done in here. But anyway, thank you for watching. Please make sure you like this video, comment down below and subscribe to the channel if you're new or you're watching videos and you're not subscribed. See you later. Bye.
Next week on the channel, the bodywork begins.
Right, and that is all that filler sanded out of the quarter. What an absolute nightmare that was. Now, as you can see, that has been squished up pretty badly.